if you have him on your roster, that means your quarterback is going to be healthy because he never plays.
That's like me. I started 5 games in 14 years. No one got hurt.
Yeah.
You've got a soft spot, Dianna. Did you ever wish for anybody to get hurt, Chase?
Absolutely not. You thought I was going to say absolutely.
I was waiting for you to say yes.
I was like, I love this. Like, you awful human. I understand it now.
All right, welcome into Scoop City. I'm James Palmer. We have a lot to cover. We have Trey Hendrickson. Is he going to be on the move? Diana's going to get you the latest there. Could he actually leave Cincinnati? We still have 3 quarterback jobs that haven't been decided just yet. When will those decisions happen? Terry McLaurin is off the PUP list. What does that mean? I don't know. We'll see. Don't forget to like or subscribe. You got to say smash, Diana. We got to say smash that like button, I think they say. They got to say annihilate that subscribe button, Chase. We're here with senior NFL insider Dianna Russini. Diana, you're back from your travels. How are you?
I'm back. I'm great. I loved Minnesota. I could have stayed there for another week. The weather's perfect. The people are lovely. The food was excellent. It was a great trip, and it was great to just be around the Minnesota Vikings, knowing that they're cooking something there, James.
They're cooking something. I like that you enjoy Minnesota. This is like that small window where everybody loves Minnesota. And it's like, we're on the lake. We're having the time of our life.
It's crazy there.
It's incredible,
I heard
right?
it's amazing.
Oh, it's next level. Now it feels like a 4.5 week period, Chase.
Yeah.
Like where it's gold.
It's like you get to golf for like 1 month. That's what Chicago was. Chicago was like you get to golf for like 2 months, but it's the best golf in the world.
Exactly right. And you mentioned Chicago.
What is it about the bad weather cities that have such great summers? Why does it work like that?
Well, the summers are like 2 months, and then the bad weather is the other 10 months out of the year. At least that was in Chicago. It snowed in June when I was in Chicago. So
I think that the winter makes the summer that much better because you went through that winter, that revolving door everywhere in Chicago. Speaking of Chicago,
seasons.
Yeah, seasons are great. You don't have that in San Diego, which is, woe is me down in San Diego. Speaking of Chicago, we'll have Chase breaking down everything with Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson and that marriage. Has it finally come together? We'll see. But when we were having our production meeting, Chase, you were like, I feel like I'm pitting a little bit. We'll see. But you were like, hey, there's something else I want to talk about. This should lead the show.
Yeah.
Jaxson Dart. Jaxson Dart has been outstanding, Chase. And I'm going to start with this question to you. Has any quarterback, not rookie, any quarterback played better this preseason than Jaxson Dart for the Giants?
Other than Jarrett Stidham, no. Jarrett Stidham is the preseason MVP. Stiddy is balling
he really
right now. Honestly, I don't know what the Saints are doing with their quarterback situation, but if I was Kellen Moore, I would have Stiddy on the phone. I know Sean Payton loves him, but look, the Jaxson Dart, that's something for you to chase down, Diana. The Jaxson Dart.
Teams are interested in Stiddy, by the way. Talked to one the other day.
Exactly. We could just have a whole thing about him.
We really could.
I don't think the Broncos are going to do that.
I don't think they are. I think they love him. Yes.
But he's playing so good. Other than that,
I told you what they say about Stiddy, right?
What?
I told you the funny little thing about him is if you have him on your roster, that means your quarterback is going to be healthy because he never plays.
That's like me. I started 5 games in 14 years. No one got hurt.
Yeah.
You've got a soft spot, Diana. Did you ever wish for anybody to get hurt, Chase?
Absolutely not. You thought I was going to say absolutely.
I was waiting for you to say yes.
I was like, I love this. Like, you awful human. I understand it now.
Yeah, I can picture Chase just throwing something out there to trip somebody up. Okay. All right. We digress. Jaxson Dart might feel that way because it's still Russell Wilson, Chase, to start the season. But take us inside what he's doing right now.
I think, I was loving every single throw, just the performance in general of Jaxson Dart. And that's why I was so enthusiasms about talking about Jaxson Dart because a lot of people nationally aren't, and for right measure, you have a future Hall of Famer in Russell Wilson. We saw the moon ball 80 yards down the field, came back through an interception. But what Brian Daboll is doing, I think it's really interesting because James, you and I and Diana were all texting during the game and like, wait, why are they taking Russell Wilson out? Why are they putting Jaxson Dart in to throw a 30-yard screen? Why are they doing this? And it's just like, it's a little bit weird. It's a little bit outside the box. But if you think about the New York Giants season, they need weird. They need outside the box. And what Jaxson Dart gives them, he gives them a legitimate threat running the football, which Russell Wilson does not do anymore. And I love Russ. Like, Russ lives literally right down the road from us in San Diego in the offseason. Like, me and Sierra, we're on the line at car pickup. We're tight. Like, it's cool. Like, I like Russ. But, yeah, that's a hot fact for you. Diana knew that. But with Russ, right, I think you have a certain ceiling for the New York Giants. And I think, when we were talking about this, the roster is really good. And when you look and actually break down the film of what Jaxson Dart is doing, there's some plays that Brian Daboll's already put in that he was running at Ole Miss. Like that one nice throw over the middle where he fakes it to the right like a pitch.
That's an Ole Miss play.
It's just an Ole Miss play. And I think that the up-tempo of the New York Giants offense, which is what Brian Daboll wants, the short intermediate throws, which is what Brian Daboll wants, they don't even have Malik Neighbors right now. Jaxson Dart hasn't really even got a chance to throw to him. They got an amazing defense front. Look, I don't know if this team is going to make the playoffs, and I've said this, and we can talk about it at length, but if they don't make the playoffs with Russell Wilson starting, Brian Daboll and Joe Schoen, they lose their jobs. It's been on ice. I feel like the hot seat is as hot as it's ever been. If you go out there,
ice and hot. Like,
it's icy hot, Diana.
No,
it's icy hot.
I think what you've been saying is we've been putting it on ice, meaning we've gone probably soft on it.
Yeah,
but the reality
100%.
is, right?
Yeah, the reality
their
is
jobs are on the line because the way John Mara essentially kept them, and remember how he described them when he decided to stick with them? It was like he was eating a lemon. It was like, I guess they're the guys, you know. So you're 1,000% correct that the pressure is on them to be successful and win some games here.
And that's what I was saying with Dart, though. Like, look, we can look at the schedule. And we looked at the schedule, I think, last Monday. It's a brutal start. The hardest, first 10 games in the NFL, in my opinion. It's not even close. A lot of playoff teams. You can't just throw a young rookie quarterback out there to the Wolves. I get that. Like, Russell Wilson's probably going to be the starter. But I've said this before, Diana and James. I'm sure you've heard of this. It's like the last 5 years, first-round quarterbacks, like quarterbacks taken in the first round, no matter the pick, the average week of them starting is week 3. The last 5 years, when you draft a quarterback in the first round, you start. I feel like 7 or 8 wins in a trending up Giants team with Jaxson Dart, that buys Brian Daboll and Joe Schoen more time because they have drafted the quarterback of the future.
Yeah, 6 of their first 8 games are against playoff teams from last season. Right?
That's
a gauntlet.
It's brutal. I'll run through it for you, Diana. Ready? At Washington, at Dallas, Kansas City, Chargers, Saints, Eagles, Broncos, Eagles, Niners. That's
Saints is 1-7. Like, tell me if you find other for sure wins. I'm not even sure the Saints could be good. Like, it's a tough stretch for a young rookie quarterback. So I understand what Brian Daboll is doing. But if this season doesn't go as planned right off the bat, they should be talking in New York to play the young guy. And here's, before I let you end, Diana, because I know you're about to talk, the one thing that just grinds my gears.
Grinds my gears.
More than anything, all right, is the fact that people and fans and certain pundits, they're like, he needs to sit, he needs to sit, he needs to sit. I get that. Like, you're like, oh, look at Patrick Mahomes. They had Alex Smith. They went to the play, all this stuff. The only way to develop as a quarterback in the National Football League is to play real games. Forget about practice. Forget about preseason. You have to learn on the job, and hopefully you're good enough.
I have to ask this question then to both of you. What is the because this is what everybody's curious about. What is the negative of playing Jaxson Dart week 1? Diana.
I think Chase said it already. I think it's rolling him
schedule?
out there against teams that are going to be ferocious and take advantage of a rookie quarterback. This is always the debate on whether or not to go with these young guys. I think what they have in their favor, though, after talking to someone with the Giants this morning, they feel like the moment isn't too big. The game isn't too big for him.
Well, if that's the case,
right?
Will his confidence not be shook?
I just think the fact that a rookie this early in the season, that the team already feels that, what better way to impress as a young player and a coaching staff like Brian Daboll's that ask a lot from a quarterback in terms of understanding the playbook, understanding his offense, and being able to go out there with all the pressure and with the veterans around you. I would be curious, and it's something I maybe we can look into it. What that dynamic is in that quarterback room, like how much is Russ helping him?
Yeah.
You know?
And that's a good point. And to answer your question and to piggyback off Dianna, because I think Dianna said it perfectly, the negative to playing him, I would say the positive to not playing him, let's spin it like that, to not playing him is during a week when you're in the quarterback room, especially in season, right? Mm-hmm. Once you get in season mode, you are looking, who do they play first, James? The Commanders?
They play Commanders, yep.
Commanders, you are literally just studying the Commanders and you're studying their defense, and it is so locked in on this game plan. I think the positive for sitting him for 2 or 3 or 4 weeks, whatever it is you get to see a future Hall of Famer and his process. It's a different process than what it is in the preseason. You are watching how he breaks down film, how he watches third down, how he watches red zone, how he does all this stuff. And when you see that, and you're able to see it from the sideline view and the game plan play out and go through different adversities, that's a learning experience I can get behind. Mm-hmm. And so that's something like, all right, like let's see it from an outsider's perspective where you have the headset on, where you're hearing Daboll in a real game cuss and scream, and I don't know if he does all that, but it just sounds cool. But like it gets heated in how you handle different points of games. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Totally. It's all part of the process, right? That's why there's certain coaches that have been around forever, like say a Gary Kubiak, that will die saying that a quarterback needs to sit that first year. That all of the things you're mentioning, Chase, are the reasons why. By the way, these are like Jarrett Stidham numbers, so I just wanted to throw them out there. Jaxson Dart in the first game, he goes 12 of 19 for 154, a touchdown, no interceptions, and no sacks. In number 2 for Dart, he goes 14 of 16, including 13 straight. For 137, a touchdown, no interceptions. Remember, he did run the other one in there. And I also thought this was unique, and I want to mention this before we move on. Dart said after the game that he asked to go up tempo more in the second half. And that dialogue to me is very valuable if it's already there between him and the coaching staff. Anybody have anything else on Dart before we move on to another quarterback performance that was outstanding?
I still just love the idea that the general manager's son is the one that leaked out that the Giants were drafting him. Remember that?
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that. Great callback.
Remember? And people with the Giants were like, oh, no, they're just good friends, which I think they are. But that was awesome. That was good drama that morning.
That's hilarious.
It really was. And let's remember this, by the way, as we continue to evaluate what's going on with Jaxson Dart. Asking around the league, I don't think anybody put in more work, and Dianna, I'd like your opinion on this, more work on quarterbacks over the last calendar year than the Giants, in terms of hours.
Because it's called job status.
It was very, very vital. You work extra hard when you're
and look
seats
how
cold or
weird
hot.
their offseason was with their quarterback situation.
Yeah.
Chase, remember how judgy we were? We're like, what are you doing? Russell Wilson,
for
Jameis
10.
Winston, Aaron Rodgers they were in on, remember? Right around the combine. They were offering him buckets of money trying to get him and allure him to New York before Stafford eventually went back to the Rams. And, we're going to keep an eye on that story as that continues to evolve every day in terms of what the status of him's going to be. Mm-hmm. No one seems to be panicking, but we'll get some more information coming up on that soon, James.
Yeah, awesome. I remember seeing Joe Shane at the showcase, not a pro day, the showcase at CU, and we were asking him about his quarterbacks he had, and he was like, what did you want me to do? Like, we didn't have a whole lot of options before this draft. We needed somebody, yeah. Let's go to Caleb Williams, where everybody was waiting, guys, for what Caleb Williams is going to do in his preseason debut, operating with Ben Johnson, the new head coach there, the offensive mind, the guru, in 13 snaps over 2 drives. Caleb Williams goes 6 for 10 for 107 yards, 97 yards on that first drive that was outstanding. Chase, you wanted to talk about Caleb. We bumped him up in the rundown because this is a huge deal. I know it's the preseason, but a huge deal for Chicago and their fans to just see this, right?
Let me just, before I get into what we saw in the film, let me just preface this, because we do have a lot of Chicago fans,
right?
University of Missouri, people listen. I get it, right? Here's the deal, Chicago Bears fans. I get it. You have been burned so many times before this preseason hype. You're doing this. You don't want to buy into it. You this and our defense, and we're a deep. We've never had a quarterback to throw for 4,000. Guys, it is okay to be excited about Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson, because what they did yesterday, and everyone's going to say, it's just preseason, right? They looked extremely sharp. And if you listen to Ben Johnson's presser after, he tells you the last 4 days, Caleb Williams has been absolute nails. He threw for 97 yards on the first drive of the game. He was sharp. He found his tight ends. Diana, we have talked about it multiple times with drafting Colson Loveland and having Cole Kmet, that 12 personnel package that the Chicago Bears want to use. And then you look at Missouri guy Luther Burden getting his nose dirty. Like, I just loved everything about what Caleb Williams does, because he was quick, he was efficient. It was like throw to snap was less than 3 seconds in every one. He didn't turn the ball over. There wasn't a lot of misunderstanding of what's going on with the offense. The marriage seems to be working well, and it's okay, Chicago Bears fans, to be excited, because I'm excited.
I think they're excited, and they should be, but also reserved about it, because it just has felt like the camp wasn't as smooth as we expected it to be. I think there's a lot of hype around what Ben Johnson can do. Remember back at the owners' meeting, he was like, I want Caleb ripping it. I want him taking all those chances, emphasizing all of that. And guess what? It sounds like they gave him a lot. And it appears that they gave him a lot at training camp here, and perhaps at a fast, maybe too fast, of an ability for him to digest it all. But this was part of it, right? So knowing that Ben was doing this on purpose to get his quarterback ready, like how have you seen that on film in terms of him just taking some shots?
Yeah. Great call, because I have watched some practice footage just from like here and there, and then when you watch him on film, that's a great point. It sounds like someone else we know and love on this show, Sean Payton. Sean Payton did that to even Drew, like year 10. Like, he was like, we're going to give you even more. We're going to front load it because we want to see how you process information. This is talking about Caleb now. We're going to front load everything. We're going to throw everything at you, so you're going to feel literally like you're drowning. And then we're going to start to pull back layers. We're going to start to add in layers that you feel comfortable with. The RPO, the bootleg game. I think getting Caleb out of the pocket 7 to 8 times a game is probably smart. He throws really well on the run, going both to your right and to your left. So when you do that, and people remember those videos that went viral, like Caleb throwing at the net. And it's like, oh my God. Okay, this is training camp. Training camp is practice. Practice makes perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. You're not going to be perfect in practice. Some coaches almost say, hey, play free. We invite the mistakes in practice. So come game time, and look, they played their starters. I liked it. That's what Ryan Poles was saying. Like, we're going to play our starters. We're going to get some work in. It's exactly what Andy Reid and the Chiefs did. So it's a really, really good start. It's telling for them. Now, regular season, it'll be different, but he's directly on the right path, in my opinion.
Yeah, Chase loved it. Diana loved it. My wife watching me last night, she's like, this guy throws a hell of a ball. She's on football talk, Mac. There you go. This is Mac. Roll this. This is what Chase thought. I mean, this is what Caleb thought of his performance.
Yeah, he's a lot more calmer on game day in the mic than he is in practice with me. So. It's great. It was exciting kind of sitting there having the headpiece in my ear right after, I kind of had how many ever plays I had, and been able to listen to him and encourage the guys. I think there was a moment where I think we were going for it on 4th down or something like that, and something happened to play before, something, where we got the call back and we ended up lining up. He was like, we're going to go get this right here. And so it's just small notes like that are encouraging in the moment. And it's something, that I don't know if he knows and he's conscious of it, but it's important to us, QBs when we're out there and, having those small notes. So it's, like I said, he's a lot calmer on game days in the mic. And, that's a small note.
Speaking of his head coach, Ben Johnson there, Diana. Yeah.
I just immediately think when he's talking about the wildness, of this coach in his ear. Chase, we've talked about this on the show before, about what that does to a quarterback and how, like, the first time Sean was in your ear, of just how difficult that was to just get accustomed to that.
Yeah.
Even Drake May at camp in Minnesota, when we were talking to him about Josh McDaniels in his ear, he talks a lot more than his previous OC.
Yeah.
It's just trying to get used to it. Like, did you prefer a talkie?
A talkie?
Person in your ear?
Yeah.
No, a talkie. No, I wanted, look, and here's the thing about
from
Caleb Williams that people don't understand is that, like, in college in general, they when Caleb played, they didn't have the ear from the quarterback to the play caller. So, like, it was all signals. This is the first time where, in the second time, he's hearing Ben Johnson over and over. They're trying to get on the same wavelength. And, you know, a play at USC could be called black or yellow, and here it's like green right slot nasty, Z motion, fake slash 37 buster solid, naked right, X sting, Z spear, can it with 53 tight and left. Like, these are like some play calls, right, that go into your ear. And so the more calm you are, the better off, I think, just the whole operation is. And it looked great. They have 517 yards last night, 31 first downs. Like, that's hard to do in a preseason game, right?
Tyson
But,
Bagent's
like,
balling.
Tyson Bagent too. They got everything working for
James, it's such a dorky analogy, but I wonder how similar it is for people in TV when we have an earpiece in and our producers are talking to us while we're trying to give a thought.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the hardest things to do when you start.
Yeah.
But then, you know, you're 2 or 3 years in TV and then you're like, that's it. You just
Second
get
nature.
used to it.
Yeah.
The TV thing's harder because the thing.
Hey, Diana.
The thing cuts off at 15 seconds.
Oh,
And
that's a good point.
They don't
So
talk
then
to you
have
during the
you
play,
can collect.
so you can just like, shut up.
Well, Diane and I were getting talked to during the play all the time, and we
James,
developed
let's
a
wrap it up,
pretty
please.
good
James,
ability.
let's wrap it up.
Yeah.
Send it over down to Chase now. See how hard that
See,
it's
very
really
difficult.
It is
Very
hard.
difficult to concentrate while that's happening. Last one on Caleb, and I have to ask you both this. I believe there's a head coach, new head coach and quarterback combination, two of them, that have the most pressure on them in the league. Who has more pressure to succeed this year? Trevor Lawrence and Liam Cohen, or Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams?
Oh, this one's easy.
I don't
You have it, Coach Chase?
It's easy. No, don't. If you don't think it's easy, I want to hear your thought process. Because to me, it's easy.
I actually think it's Liam Cohen and Trevor Lawrence.
It's not even close. Absolutely.
We have so much belief and confidence already in what Caleb and Ben Johnson have done because what Ben has done prior, not taking it away from Liam. I just think the way they've gone about it to get Ben Johnson there, but also Trevor has the experience. He's been, I mean, granted, he's going to be in a new system this year, but we still don't even know. And I know it's such a simple way of putting it. Is he good?
Yeah.
And I think that's where the pressure is going to be on for them to figure out if he's the guy. Not so much on Liam, but more on Trevor.
No, it's got to be Trevor for exactly the reasons you said. He's been in the league for a really long time. Is he going on year 5, right? Year 4, 5, 6, whatever it is. He hasn't lived up to expectations. And there's been stretches of greatness and there's been stretches of not good. And I say greatness, they were like 8-1 at one point, right? They were rolling or something. I don't know. It was a long time ago. I put that out of my mind because we don't talk about the Jaguars, although I love the Jaguars. I think that this play caller is sort of Trevor Lawrence's last lifeline in terms of if you can't get it with Liam Cohen, who has done amazing things with like Baker Mayfield, who has turned his career around. Like, I just don't know. I don't think they're going to do a Mike Tannenbaum, like he said this morning, and draft a quarterback next year if Trevor Lawrence isn't good because they paid him a lot of money. But I do think you have to start having conversations if this season doesn't go right. Like, all right, can we for sure build the next 10 years around Trevor Lawrence?
Yeah, maybe they should have named the stadium after him.
Wow.
A little quick on that.
Well, listen, this probably is, Chase, you mentioned it, maybe a 2-year situation here for Liam Cohen and Trevor Lawrence. We'll see how they put it all together. Let's change gears here, Diana, to Trey Hendrickson. You have been all over this from the jump, from when he was posting pictures of himself leaving Cincinnati and going to Jacksonville, and you're talking to him while he's in Jacksonville, and we're trying to get all the scoops here on Scoop City from you. It takes another turn yesterday when you report that the Bengals and have been kind of always, I want you to create some clarity here, kind of having an eye out with trade suitors. What has been the latest with Trey Hendrickson, and will he be staying in Cincinnati as they're almost at an impasse in terms of this contract?
Yeah, well, let's not forget that Trey asked for a trade. So if a player asks for a trade, doesn't that allow the team to then pick up the phone and make calls? Just to clarify, right? It's like if Trey doesn't want to be there in their mind, then they're going to go see what kind of deal that they can get. So I think both parties are just trying to get this moving along. And you can usually tell how motivated a team is to move a player based on their ability to move off what they're asking. And from what I understand, it's pretty much consistently been the same, which is they're not only looking for a future first-round pick, but they're also looking for a young defensive player, right? And that doesn't necessarily mean
position?
it doesn't have to be a pass rusher. They have a lot of needs. I think when you think about
Pass
the
rusher
Cincinnati
included.
Bengals without Trey, we're panicked. Nevertheless, with Trey. So they know they need that. And I know there's some people out there going, well, what they're looking for, they have right there. There's Trey.
Yeah.
The problem is obviously the age. He wants that guaranteed money. That's been the sticking point with them. He wants those 2 years guaranteed. But as of now, nothing has changed between Trey Hendrickson's camp and the Cincinnati Bengals in terms of those discussions. It is exactly where they left it, which is they don't want to give him that second year guaranteed money. Now I can tell you, lots of teams have checked in. Not even just in the West for a while. It's kind of been known that this is what Cincy wants. So some teams that I spoke to yesterday, just circling back to see if maybe it was getting out there because something was heating up. Most of them are just saying the same thing, which is it's just going to cost them too much because of the timing of where we are on the calendar, right? Because not only are you going to have to give up this draft capital, but you're going to have to pay them. So you're going to have to do a whole new contract, and most teams have spent a lot of their money.
Yeah, it's true. This time of year, Chase, you usually don't get maximum value in these situations.
Yeah.
Maybe the Khalil Mack trade, it did have maximum value, but around the draft, usually there's more. Whatever picks you get out of this, you can't use for this season, essentially, right? They're going to help you in the following year. And you're right, money has been spent. Diana's exactly right. When you're sitting in Joe Burrow's seat, Chase, what does this do for you when you really have, in your head, Super Bowl aspirations, a dominant offense, and you probably believe you can't get there without Trey Hendrickson when you have 36 sacks as a team last year and Trey Hendrickson had 17 and a half?
Yeah. The fact that we're talking about trading their best defensive player when their worst unit was their defense last year, seriously, the Bengals, what are we doing? I get it's a business. Pay the man, 2 years guaranteed. Move on with your life. He's old. I get it's not only what he does on the field, right? You're trading the leading pass rusher in terms of sacks in the NFL. You're trying to trade him? You need help defensively. I get you want other defensive players and stuff like that. If you can't get to the quarterback, I don't know. It's just... Yeah. It's hard to wrap my head around because I've always thought, because Joe Burrow even said he's gotten everything he's wanted, the last piece of this pie is Trey Hendrickson. Just do it. Just sign him. Just
do
sign
it.
the check.
I talked to Trey this morning too. And
What?
Whoa.
Oh, no, look, Trey consistently says the same thing, which is he wants to be a Bengal. He wants to be in Cincinnati, but he wants to be treated fairly. And they're hoping it shakes out, but I think from their perspective, it's like, well, if the Bengals are, let's just say, open to trading him, if they're picking up the phone, then their price is really high, but then they also don't want to pay him. So something's got to give at some point. And the closer we get to the start of the season, I think we're there, right, James? Don't you think we're at this point now where stuff has to get done with the season just around the corner?
Elliot Wolf, the executive VP of player personnel for the New England Patriots, spoke on Monday morning to reporters and had this to say.
Willing to give up in a trade a second or maybe even a first-round pick to make your team better this year?
Sure. Yep. Just doing what's best for the team. If there's a player out there that we feel like can help us, then, and it costs that, then we would consider doing that.
Ooh, my man Mike Giardi right in there too. I thought he was going to start taking some questions, but he didn't. He was just, I guess, holding his recorder. Diana, they have more cap space than anybody else in football. Could you see New England being interested in Trey Hendrickson?
That was very revealing.
Right?
Really?
You didn't have that reaction? I mean, he wasn't like enthusiastic
Yeah.
or loud about it, but I very rarely see a general manager be like, yeah, we'll trade first rounders.
No, it's Dianna, isn't it usually just, well, listen, we're always evaluating everything to make our team better. You don't answer that we'll give up a first-round pick, but you just go, we're always looking to better our team, and we'll look at every option.
I mean, James, you've been doing this way too long because that is beautiful. I mean, you should coach up.
God,
every
I don't
single
get any
general manager
interviews.
in football.
I should.
Because that is the exact way it goes, especially in New England. Like,
Right?
you just say, happy with the guys that we have on this roster.
Yeah.
Right? Like, isn't that the line?
Watch your back, Jerry Madeline. Are there any teams that would be interested here?
Wait, no, let's dissect this. Do
G-Matt.
we think that the Patriots are going to actively be involved in trying to trade for Trey Hendrickson, for Terry McLaurin, for Micah Parsons? I mean,
They ain't trading for Micah. Come on.
they're all going to monitor it. I have a hard time believing that
Okay, I was
the
like,
Patriots are going to seriously get in on this.
they could use a receiver.
They could use a receiver. I also look at Terry and I look at Trey and go, football characters through the roof, personal characters through the roof, obviously a dog on the field. They check every box that Mike Vrabel is trying to do in terms of building the culture in New England. You saw how they really reached during free agency at players like Chris Godwin that check all the boxes I just mentioned. Like, you have a quarterback on a rookie contract. You have all of you had a pretty good draft class, I think, in some expensive positions, possibly like a left tackle. I don't know.
Look,
it'd be
I was just
interesting.
with them in Minnesota, and of course, conversations about the big stories in the NFL come up. And I didn't talk to anyone who was like, tell me more about Terry. Tell me more. You know, I didn't get a sense that these guys are on the hunt to try to make some big move.
I feel like most teams are pretty set.
Yeah. I think the
Like-
team, Chase, do you think the teams and I always equate this to baseball, like you don't go out and get a high-priced closer if you're not a contender. You don't get a high-priced closer of games like a pass rusher if you're not a contender, right?
Yeah, here's the other thing too. Like there's like bottom of the barrel guys that get traded right before cut down, and then there's like the huge like superstars, like the Khalil Mack one you said, right?
Yep.
You don't see it very often during this time because it is very difficult to come in right away, regardless of position, and learn a new scheme and play right away. Like Khalil Mack could do it because he's defensive end, like he's a rusher. Like you could do that. Trey Hendrickson. I feel like Scary Terry would have anyone would have a difficult time learning a new offense and getting ready to play in 20 days. It would be difficult to do that. So that's why you don't see many trades like this. Although I think they'd be fun if they.
That'd be
did
fun.
something.
Yeah, I don't think
Fun's
so.
a good term, but nobody's asking Dianna about these players, so I'm not going to read too highly into it. We got a lot more coming up here on Scoop City. What is happening with Scary Terry? When can we see him actually on the field? Is it today? We'll see. We'll find out. Also, the Browns have a huge quarterback decision, or is it really pretty much the obvious? Much more of that coming up on Scoop City. Welcome back to Scoop City. I'm James Palmer with senior NFL insider Dianna Russini. I don't want to forget the senior. I don't want to make you feel old, Dianna, but you earned the senior title. Chase Daniel, our regular quarterback guru here on Scoop City. Everybody's with us on a Monday, and we want to talk about Terry McLaurin because we do it regularly until a deals get done. We'll see if a deal gets done. But what did happen is he was activated off the PUP list from his ankle injury. And Dianna, movement in terms of his status on the roster, does that mean that we have any movement in terms of the status of his maybe potential future contract?
Sometimes it's easier to just read directly from a source. So this is a source close.
Oh, I love when she does this.
Yeah, do it.
Nothing significant has changed.
Oh, it's boring.
So there you go. And then when that happens, that usually tells you that both sides also haven't changed their positions either.
Okay.
Right? So you have the Washington Commanders who are going to continually tell McLaurin's camp that he's 30 years old, that he can't get paid like a receiver that is in his late 20s. And you're going to have the McLaurin camp who says, well, you need him based on what we've seen in camp, and use that as a leverage play to try to get him over that $30 million per year goal of theirs, which I still think that's going to be a really, really, really big challenge for them.
Interesting. Dianna, who am I? I just received a text message from Doug Peterson. It states, sorry, my man Sal Powell. My man Sal Powell on the sideline. Sal
You
Powell,
always
been doing
have
it
the
forever.
good text messages.
Text me this morning. We're going to play hard. Okay. Listen, speaking of coaches, Cliff Kingsbury had this to say about getting Terry McLaurin and the importance of it, having him and their number one receiver back on the playing field.
I mean, there hasn't been a ton of contact with him. He's been here, but he's been working with the trainers. So until he gets back on the grass, that's when we'll start building that back up. That's one of those deals. There's just time on task, and luckily what they had last year to build a lot of rapport and chemistry, and Terry understands our system going into a year or two, so that should expedite the process. But to me, it's time on task together on the grass is really the only way that you can continue to build.
All right.
He looks tired.
Yeah, he looks exhausted.
Very tired.
Well, very tired because he's dealing without Terry McLaurin in his offense. Sure. And from everything I've been told, it hasn't looked outstanding without Scary Terry out there. Chase, you've spent 14 years at training camps wishing for starters to get hurt. You told us earlier in the show.
No, I didn't. It's a lie.
It's a lie. Two questions. Can Terry, as he comes off the PUP list with his ankle injury, now, can he legitimately be ready for a full slate of snaps week 1?
Yeah, I think if he comes off now and starts practicing like today, he probably could. Yeah, I do think so. I don't know if he's going to play every single snap. I don't know if he's going to play 70 snaps, but 50, 45 snaps, that's absolutely into it. It depends on how hard he's been working off the field. And people are like, oh, what about the timing? I think Jaden and Scary Terry have had plenty of timing down. Like that's the one thing I worry about. It's not a new offense, exactly what Cliff said. I thought it was interesting in the Cliff soundbite too, and I want to make sure everyone understands this. Like a lot of times when we've had these hold-ins or holdouts on teams I've been a part of, the offensive coordinator and the defensive coordinator, they don't know anything. Like most of the teams I've been around, like the only person that knows is GM and head coach, and they keep it to themselves about what's happening. He genuinely sounds like he's like, dude, until he gets back on the grass, it's literally not up to me. I have no.
Yeah.
It's crazy for some people to understand it. But the communication on most teams I've been on, and I would ask the offensive coordinator, like, hey, he's like, dude, I haven't heard anything. So they really don't know anything on terms of like how it's going. But back to Scary, I think it's one of those things where he is such a great person both on and off the field. He's given you everything. He's been around when the Commanders weren't doing so hot. He's stuck around. He's played it out. He's played through injury. He's done all this stuff. It's not hard to pay a guy what he's worth. I think he's worth the $30 million, and I'm always going to be pro player, and Diana's going to come back from the other side, and I get it, the age and stuff like that. But I just like he means so. He's their number one receiver, James. Like you pay him. Yeah.
Yeah, but look, by the way, I am pro player as well. I'm just going to give the other side
pro player personnel,
just to balance it out. Look, geez,
Big Elliott Wolf fan.
You said this on the show a million times. In this league, you don't get paid for what you do, and that's what makes it so hard. Right?
Wouldn't you think, Diana, has the argument, and maybe you can tell Terry's agent this, like past production and what he's done with 11 different quarterbacks who are all not even close to as talented as Jaden Daniels actually shows you what his future production could be when you see him play with a real quarterback, when you see how productive he was with lesser quarterbacks? Couldn't they use that in their negotiations?
I think
now I'm being an agent.
I think that's on Buddy Baker, the agent's like fourth PowerPoint slide. They've got.
I would love if agents did PowerPoint. And now, if you could see the chat, the graph here, in Terry's production has gone up. Next slide, please. If we could.
We should do Scoop Court because I bet you.
We've done it before, yeah.
We've done it before. I bet you we could lay out a pretty fair case where Buddy Baker has every right to go as hard as he's going to get.
I think he does.
That 30. By the way, I've had this conversation with a lot of people around the league just watching this, just to pick everyone's brains of like, how do you see this? And it is funny, like every decision maker in football kind of always falls between that 27 and 28, right? Yeah. I have a hard time finding anyone who's given me the number that I think the McLaurin camp is giving. Not saying they shouldn't go for it. It's just, I think most teams are looking at it through the lens of Adam Peters right now, which is the age it's just hard because we haven't seen that many wide receivers after the age of 30 be productive at a high level that they
Is it all about APY or is it more guaranteed for them?
both. It's both. But the APY is the sexy part of all this, right? Because
Yeah, but it doesn't matter unless it's guaranteed.
Yeah. It's Diana, the other question I have for you with this is, and Adam Peters' name keeps coming up as, he's a tough negotiator and this stuff. I almost feel like he is trying to establish how the Commanders are going to do business moving forward and using this contract as part of that. Is that something you're kind of hearing through the grapevine of, like, he does need to establish how the Commanders will do business moving forward?
Yeah, but you could also counter that with
He's their
this
number
isn't the
one
one
receiver.
You don't use
Oh,
Terry
listen,
McLaurin.
I can sit here for an hour and go, man, I really think that, why are they not paying Terry? And then I sit here and go,
Slide
now I
10,
understand.
PowerPoint.
Now I understand. Now Adam will get on his PowerPoint and go, here is the data for receivers over 30 and the inverse angle of said trajectory.
Now,
Next slide, Diana,
taking
go.
him off PUP to try to get him out to practice, I'd ask some people in Washington if this was similar to the James Cook situation. Because remember in Buffalo, they told James, go out there and practice, and then we'll do your deal, and everyone will get this done. And James went and practiced that day. I think we did a show. James practiced that day. The deal was done the next morning. From what I understand, that was not the same. That was not the situation where they're like, okay, that injury's healed. Your ankle's walking now. Get on the field, and then we can do this. That I do believe this is different. Yet in the same breath, somebody there told me that they've noticed Terry has seemed a little happier the last few days. Everyone's just reading the tea
reading the
leaves,
body
so,
language.
And that person obviously is part of the Commanders organization that shared that of just observing a player.
Interesting.
Let's settle on 29, call it a deal, get your best receiver out there.
All right, Chase got it done. Perfect.
mean,
It's not that hard, guys.
I don't know. Don't you think Buddy's sitting there going, it's got to be 3?
Yeah, but
there's
do it for
numbers, right,
29, I'd be
Diana?
happy.
There's numbers that agents want. They just want it out there that I got him 30. However the numbers are within the contract, I want to make sure that he's in the 30s. Who knows? Listen, Chase already got the contract done, so let's move on. And no surprise here, the Cleveland Browns are naming Joe Flacco their starter for Week 1. And Diana, remember, this week in terms of the preseason is always kind of the dress rehearsal, right? It's when you want to simulate kind of what a normal week is in terms of how you're going to operate, whether your starter's playing the third preseason game or not. That's how the practice week usually goes, and that's why a lot of teams make their decision on their starter. The Browns have made theirs, and this is logical, obvious, no-brainer.
I like
Which one do you want to go with? Obvious? Okay.
Obvious is good because I do think there were some people wondering if maybe they were going to be spicy and try something different. That is not Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry's personality. If you've ever met them, they are not spicy people, and I say that as a compliment. Right, so there's no question that Joe Flacco is going to be the guy, even just based on what they did this training camp and how they, essentially were trying to see what they had as the backup. By giving them a lot of reps because they know what Joe can do. Joe's been in Kevin Stefanski's system. He's been in the league for over 20 years. Almost 20 years. At this point, Stefanski has tons of confidence that Flacco can at least get this offense humming, just based on that experience. So this makes a lot of sense. And I just think the next question really is going to be, what are they going to do with the rest of the quarterbacks on this roster?
Yeah, and I'll say this really quickly. Shedeur Sanders never took a single rep with the first team, so that, chances of landing as a fifth-round pick with 0 first-team reps is pretty difficult to get that starter job. Dylan Gabriel, I think, got like maybe a couple. I'm not even sure if he did, but way more 2s than, say, Shedeur Sanders did. So this just made a whole lot of sense.
My question is, that's great. I'm glad it's Flacco. Are they keeping 4 on the roster? And between Dylan and Shedeur and Kenny, is Kenny there? Who's the backup? Who's the 3? That is the most interesting thing. I
agree. And I don't know if those answers are there just yet. I think they are waiting to see on some injury fronts. But I'm with you on the 4 quarterbacks. I have a hard time believing that that's what they're going to wind up doing.
Could they, Diana, be doing this through the rest of camp, through the start of the season, through a couple weeks to see if Kenny Pickett has value in a place like, say, New Orleans or somewhere to where the quarterback room still needs maybe an added player? Like, is it essentially you're keeping Kenny because there's value in having quarterbacks in this league?
There's definitely argument to be made that you keep him just knowing that there's going to be teams desperate here, especially in the early part of the season. If these quarterbacks are struggling, we keep saying New Orleans. Chase, I know we talked a little bit offline about the Saints situation at quarterback. I wouldn't be surprised if that's a team. They've said they're not doing that, right?
Well, Kenny and Kellen go back and, right, they knows the offense. They have a conundrum. That's a great word. In that quarterback room. Like, what are they doing?
I don't think you used that right, though. I don't think it's a
Conundrum?
quarterback conundrum.
No.
I think you have quarterback questions.
No, you could say it's a
say
conundrum in a
conundrum.
sense. But like they did put themselves in this position by the way they went about creating this quarterback room. Dianna, I was texting with a GM last night who was like, I feel so bad for Kevin Stefanski. The guy is a great coach. And it's kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't, and what's going on in this entire kind of situation. I want to spin it to the two rookies because our buddy Mike Silver had in his recent piece on The Athletic that teams called about possibly trading for Dylan Gabriel after they drafted Shedeur Sanders, and the Browns would not do it. Chase?
Hold on. Can we just, hold on.
Okay.
Dianna, conundrum is the perfect word to use in that. A confusing and difficult problem or question. I could not have used it any better. Stop making me second guess.
Good job. First time you ever got that right, but good job.
I know. That's why I wanted to stop everything.
All right, people.
It was worthy of a stop. It was worthy of a stop. If we could also, Mac, maybe have a graphic come up with the definition of conundrum just over Chase while he reads that,
what it
would be
is.
perfect to get that taken care of. With this conundrum, Chase, how did you think Dylan Gabriel played in the preseason game?
So I thought he played really well, except for 2 snaps. The 2 snaps were the pick six. Right, and both snaps were turnovers, and not only were both snaps turnovers, they also led to 13 Eagles points. So not only did you turn the football over, but you throw a pick six, right? And I go back and forth on the handoff. I think that the path of the back was correct, and I think Dylan Gabriel took too skinny of a path, so I'm going to put that on him as well. When you have 2 turnovers like that and you play really good, other than that, you can't forget about the turnover. The turnovers stand out, right? And I think that he was really decisive in throwing the football. Now, it's their first game, I get that, but you look at Shedeur and you look what he was able to do. It's obviously Shedeur played better in that one game, but that's not what they are just looking at. Is it Dylan or Shedeur? They're looking at the sample size since you got drafted, right? What did you do in training camp? What did you do in OTAs? How do you handle stuff on and off the field? All that stuff. So I thought Dylan played pretty well. I mean, it's preseason. You want to make mistakes. I thought Shedeur played better when he played. Now I don't know the injury stuff and how that happens. It all plays into it, but it was an interesting game by Dylan Gabriel.
Dianna, I know we're all talking about who's going to be the starter, and I think everybody believes it's Joe Flacco. Is the real competition then between Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders about going, how can I get a leg up by week 1 to if something happens to Joe Flacco, I'm the first person that Kevin Stefanski's looking at?
It's 100% a competition there.
That's where it's at right now.
There, though, that's like a good, healthy one. And I don't think it's really easy if you're Shedeur Sanders or if you're Dylan Gabriel. I mean, think about what Dylan Gabriel's up against, too, in terms of so many of the fans that want to see Shedeur Sanders get this job.
Tough.
The entertainer, Shedeur Sanders.
And what'd you make of that? I know there's a lot of like kickback and feedback on it. Do you really think what he said about the game not being about entertainers but competitors, he was really talking about the media?
Yes.
You think
later in the show?
I don't know him, so I didn't know how.
Later in the show, and this is a tease, we're going to talk about what really grinds our gears, because we had Mike Vrabel talking to you, Dianna, about what really bothers him, and oh man, was he so relatable, and we're going to close out the show talking about the things that really annoy us. This is something that really annoys me, and I got to say it right now. The context that it was taken out of, and then the people retweeting that it was taken out, like people tweeting out on Saturday to stir the pot, and then on Sunday night tweeting out, Dylan Gabriel clarified his comments. He didn't have to clarify his comments. He's clarifying his comments because of your tweets and by the way you took it out of context. He doesn't have to clarify anything. And then you're tweeting both of them out. It drives me nuts when you could have just had some sort of journalistic integrity. Listen to Aditi Kinkhabwala's question to him, which was very clear. And if you took any time to know Dylan Gabriel as a person, and the reason he was drafted in the 3rd round is because of his character, his football character, the type of person he is, this was very clear cut. And then it's a story because Shedeur Sanders is involved in it. Let's just be clear. That's the other guy that everybody wanted to create a story with.
I really can't wait to grind your gears because
this grinds my gears.
Last night period who just loses, like, you guys get so fired up about stuff. So this is good. I can't wait to do it.
Last night I was bowling with my family last night, and I was about to retweet somebody, and my wife was like, "Put your phone down, take 30 minutes, and then if you still want to tweet it." I did not, but I was upset about
you could
the
bowler,
way
James?
this has gone. What's that? I'm at these. We got summer bowling passes, so we go about 3 days a week.
What are you, 175, 150?
I'm in that. I 175. I'd like to be. 176 is my high this summer. I'm more in the 140s.
So I was right on.
Yeah, 140s to 150s.
I was right on.
Is there some bowling trend going on? You bowl 3 times a week?
Listen,
that's a lot.
I know nobody wants to hear this, but Lucky Strike in our neighborhood, for $50 a person, you get 2 free games and free shoes every day for the whole summer. So you go in and spend no money.
Are we sponsored by Lucky Strike?
We should be.
That seemed like a read.
We should be.
Come on down.
Come on down to Lucky Strike. I'm a little upset because I did hear their lanes are shorter than actual lanes. All right, which really bothers me with my spin. Okay, we got one more block to come up here on Scoop City, and we're going to talk about what really grinds our gears, but we're also going to get a chance to see and hear some of these unbelievable interviews that Dianna Russini did with KOC, Mike Vrabel. Who else we got? JJ McCarthy. We got him on there. We got Drake May. We got all sorts of names right after this. Back on Scoop City, talking about what really grinds our gears. Now, we already started that in the B block. We're in the C block here, guys. We're closing things out, and Dianna Russini, our senior NFL travel expert, was all over the map during training camp. Her last stop, Minnesota, and it was a delightful selection because she was there for a joint practice with the Patriots and the Vikings. And obviously, everybody wants to know about J.J. McCarthy and what he's going to do under the tutelage of KOC, Kevin O'Connell. Here's what Dianna and Kevin chatted about.
You know, as I've told, JJ, and I've told our offensive unit, look, it should be a good thing that the expectations for not only a quarterback playing for the first time, but the group itself, I want them to be high. We have high, goals and aspirations as a team, and our offense will certainly play a part of that. But yes, I've been through this, in certain capacities, both. As a young quarterback, getting the ball in your hands and trying to, live up to either your role as a backup or playing behind maybe the best quarterback that ever lived and taking the reps right after that guy, and the standards are the way they are. So as a coach, I've seen it in every, kind of every capacity of being along that journey with the player. I expect there to be reactions, positive, negative. Our goal is to win football games, and JJ's going to play a role in that. Our team's going to play a role in that. I will maybe more so than anyone, play a role in that with what we ask our team to do, what we ask our offense to do, what we ask JJ to do, but all with an understanding of the foundation of developing quarterbacks is not a overnight thing. It's not a flash reaction thing. I think that's what gets organizations in trouble sometimes when you want so badly. We all want so badly for it to look a certain way and be a certain way from the very beginning. But what are you doing as a coach, as an organization, as a teammate, as a one of 11 in the huddle with said player, to make sure that we're doing everything in our power to give the best possible chance to have success? And then when adversity hits, how are we going to respond to that? I think that was a great learning moment for our team last year. Adversity hit right now. I can remember sitting with you in Cleveland, and
it was that day that it all came out.
Yeah, and it was that day, and the expectations of this team might have the first pick in the draft. This team might win 6 games. This team should be in the cellar of the NFC North, and it was a great example of ignoring a lot of that. It's great, it's great to. There's only so many, speeches you can give your team where you use that. If you use that every single day, you'll have no substance. You'll build nothing that can sustain. And when you win 14 games, that's fantastic. I was proud of what we did, but we're trying to build a team that's worthy of the moment in the end, and in the end may be punching your ticket and trying to play the best 4 quarters that you possibly can.
Does anybody else just want to play for Kevin O'Connell?
That was my one takeaway from the whole. He said so much coach speak, but like I was so engaged, like I was playing again. He is so freaking good at understanding where a team wants to go, how to get him there. It's not only because he played quarterback, but from who he learned under. And my whole thing is like, man, J.J. McCarthy is so freaking lucky to have him as his head coach, because there are so many head coaches in this league that do not get it, that do not understand it, that do not understand what it takes to be successful. It's not a one-day process of developing quarterbacks, like he said. That's just the one thing I'm like, man, he is extremely lucky to go from Harbaugh to McCarthy or to KOC. Like, it's unbelievable.
And even Kevin's patience with his quarterback, right? Like, the fact that he understands that this is a process. But I don't know, Chase, you're being really nice for a guy that wants your job. In the full interview, he started off saying, because we were just talking about how
That's funny.
he went into broadcasting. He's like, maybe looking back that, I could have been on Scoop City. Like, I'm like, what? I got Chase, bud. Like, I'm not
could
in
have
the
definitely
backup
taken my
quarterback
job. I
market
agree.
for a host here.
He would have taken my job. Easy.
He's better than
Easy.
me.
He's way better than
No,
me.
he wasn't.
What can't
Is he a better backup? What? No.
What can't Kevin O'Connell do? I saw the pipes there, Diana. It looks like he's in tremendous shape.
Yeah.
He speaks eloquently. He's an unbelievable coach. It's out of it is wild just to see that there's like across the league no panic on how J.J. McCarthy's quote-unquote rookie year is going to be after not even getting really reps during his real rookie year. It wasn't like he even sat and ran a scout team, and that he didn't do any of that because he was hurt the entire time. And there's just seems to be no panic about how this is going to go, and it's because of Kevin O'Connell. Also, let's go to Mike Vrabel. You sat down with him as well, Diana, and you guys talked about his quarterback in Drake May.
We can have different personalities. We have to have one mentality. And that mentality is about the team and about our identity. And when he does things, it makes everybody else think, okay, that's acceptable. And we go and we celebrate any play that we make. We want to celebrate as a team, and hopefully we score. We go and celebrate.
Yeah.
And it's hard to score in this league. It's tough. And when we do, we want to be able to celebrate and not just think, we just when the quarterback does things, everybody else says, that must be the right thing to do.
You're not one to do the predictions thing, but what are the expectations? Because I feel like the outside world and the national media is looking at you guys and they think, okay, they've got Mike Vrabel, they're going to be good. But what's the truth? Like,
yeah, that's never going to be the case. I mean, we have to work and we have to compete. And I've said this multiple times in this league. We're never going to accept losing, but we have to embrace moving on. Whether we win or whether we lose, we have to continue to move ahead and figure out what the next challenge is.
Yeah.
And so whatever the predictions are or the expectations are that we compete, that we try to be good enough to take advantage of bad football, that we're not beating ourselves, that there is a rhythm to what we're doing, that there's a flow to what we do, and that the players, again, they're the ones that establish the identity. I can talk about it till I'm blue in the face. They are the ones that it's their identity. And hopefully once you build something, you protect it because it's yours. You build a home, you protect it. You build a family, you protect it. And that's what we talk about.
he gave away the identity of the team by saying it at the end, right? Like, compete, take advantage of bad football. It's exactly what they're trying to do and what they're trying to build. It's, we saw a lot of that in Tennessee, and they're very clear and decisive about what they want to be and the type of football team they want to be. And Drake is growing, right? Like, even though he's in his second year, I think this is just a whole new experience. I love talking to Drake about Josh McDaniel too, just like that dynamic, that relationship. They live next door. Well, they live like close to each other on the same street. And I was
That's
asking
valuable.
Drake, I'm like, do you like stop by each other's house? Do you like give each other a hard time about the garbage cans? Which that grinds my gears.
Garbage cans?
Well, sometimes in the morning I walk around the neighborhood and I'm just like the garbage can picker-upper because the garbage cans are just like thrown all over.
You and
like,
Will
they're in the
Compton should be
paths for
buddies.
bikers
Do you wear
and-
gloves?
He hates it too.
Do you wear gloves? I would.
Nope, but I don't wash my hands either.
Wow.
Toughens you up there, James.
Unbelievable. Chase, anything on Vrabel before we get to another grind our gears situation here?
No, Diana said it all.
Yeah, I think so. I do think he's being like, he knows this is going to take a minute, but he also isn't going to accept anything but the needle moving up.
It's exactly what they needed.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly what they needed. And Diana, you also had a hilarious conversation that's been everywhere. We wanted to put it on here with Mike Vrabel about what really gets him going.
Is there something outside football that drives Mike Vrabel nuts?
Yes. People, when they leave their carts in the middle of the parking lot and they don't take them back to the cart return.
That's a good one.
And then the people at Starbucks that park in the handicap spot and go in there and try to get their order from the mobile order.
Who aren't handicapped?
By no means handicapped. No, I look in the dash, I look, and then I wait. And then I approach them.
Wait, so
and I say things like, why did you park here? One person would be like, oh, I'm with DoorDash. I'm like, I don't care. That's unacceptable. And then there's the mom that's going to yoga, and she's rushing because she's late. And I'm like, this is ridiculous.
if there was a way you could actually punish them, what would you do?
I wish I had a boot. That's a great idea. I would boot their car, just like a mobile boot, and said, I parked in a handicap spot, and I'm not handicapped.
So good. So good. So good.
Oh my!
You can hear in the interview him say too that that's what he was doing when he didn't have like a full-time head coaching job. He was just sitting in parking lots yelling at people. Which imagine just like you make that stupid mistake of parking in a handicap spot because
I was thinking the same thing.
I've never done that.
No.
I have never. I've pulled in to handicap spots before that I
And
didn't know.
stayed in the car?
Yeah.
That I didn't know. I'm like, oh no, and then I pull. I get out. Like I freak out over that. I just think it's the worst thing you could do.
Yeah.
Tell
me right now, what job, listening to that, would Mike Vrabel absolutely crush if he wasn't a football coach?
Mall cop.
Just a cop. Like, he is right and wrong. Like, this is
even
right,
looks like
this
one.
is wrong. He would be an unbelievable police officer. Like, he would just... I can see him confronting people, being like, why would you do that? Like, you're not supposed to do that. Like, what do you think? Oh,
I
so
think
good.
I like what grinds my gears though is exactly what Rabe said, and he gave you specific examples. Mine is laziness, just pure laziness. Whether it's like to my kid who like doesn't take the trash all the way out, he just takes it outside, or like to other people like you don't finish. Like to my kids, I'm coaching flag football again this year, like 4th year. Like if I tell them at the beginning of practice, and we do this, we run a lot, we try to get them in good shape. Not run a lot, but like run laps, special teams. I say, hey, run to the concrete, touch the concrete with your right hand, and run back. The first time I did that, you know how many kids did that? 1 out of 10, and it was not my son, and I was mad about it. Oh. And so I made them go run again. You know how many people do it now? All of them. All the kids do it now. It's like the small little things in life, like just do it.
Yeah. Diana, you got something that gets you going outside of the trash cans?
I got a notebook full of them. Besides the trash cans, behind the password changes every 2 days with 17 letters and 45 exclamation points that you need to change it every time, and I can't remember them. My husband, sticking with Vrabel's parking thing, just drives by open parking spaces. Like, why not take that one?
Yeah. Do you kind of like lean? Like the car should be turning here, and then you go right by.
Like, why? Oh, and I would say our biggest fights are usually when we're parking, like right in that moment, because there is a 98% chance Kevin is going to pick the parking spot furthest away from the entrance to the restaurant. Every time.
Well, thanks for tuning in for another edition of Scoop City. For Chase Daniel, for senior NFL insider Dianna Russini, I'm James Paul. Remember, hit like, hit subscribe. Please do it. Leave a comment. I'll comment on your comment. I will. See you this week.
Thanks for watching Scoop City. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and feel free to leave a comment. New episodes of Scoop City drop every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday.